The following program has been made possible through an underwriting grant from Benny Rizzuti's wallet. Hey, come back here with that.
Hello, my name's Max.
That's the way it's done.
Hi, I'm Amy, and you should watch Benny TV because he's the bomb diggity. I better get my $5.
Alfredo Gaguzzi, he loves you.
Perfect.
Hello and welcome to Benny TV, the show about everything. And tonight we review the hottest movie of the week. Yes, I'm talking Deadpool. We also learn about why a comedian uses a wheelchair in her act but doesn't actually need the chair. We've got awesome videos from some of New York's most talented comedians like Sandy Chant-Simone, Luis Leone, and Camille Theobald. Bob Hope drops in for a minute. Frank Zappa eats that question. Rock Hudson gets sloppy seconds. And we even get visited by a brother from another planet. What does this mean? I know you have a lot of questions. We may even answer the question, would I make a good contestant in the Ernest Hemingway contest at Key West? We're going to answer all that. I just want to say welcome, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Hope you're relaxing. You're not working. You're getting ready for a nice 3-day weekend, which it's going to be Memorial Day weekend, which, all right, it's the unofficial beginning of summer for most of us in the United States. But don't forget that it is Memorial Day weekend for a reason, and it's a weekend that you should remember those heroes who fought for this country and helped keep us a free nation. And you should remember all of them, those living and those who lost their lives for our country and for your freedom. So I hope you had a great week, everyone. So I know it's only the beginning of the week, but tomorrow's hump day. So tomorrow's Wednesday. It gets closer to the weekend, and I've spoke to my councilman, and I'm hoping that we can have Thursday move to Friday, which will be great for all of us, right? If you're in, I'm going to send a petition. It's on Facebook. You'll be able to find that petition on my Facebook page, Benny TV. What is this show? Benny TV. I have a Benny TV. I have Benny Rizzuti. We're always interested in videos. Any videos you have, they don't necessarily have to be funny videos. They could be just entertaining or very interesting. So also big news of the week was that they had the royal wedding. And I know a lot of people saw the royal wedding and spoke about it. I unfortunately missed the royal wedding because I spent the whole afternoon on the throne. So I had to use that one. It went over big on Facebook. So as I said, we've got a movie review coming. But before that, let's start off with a video that we showed last week. But it's an important video, and it leads into comic book characters. If you love Batman, then you really should see this movie. And it's a documentary, very interesting documentary called Batman and Bill. Here we go. Here's the video.
This story for me was uncovering a big superhero secret. Bob Kane is the man who has been credited on Batman for most of Batman's history.
When you open a comic book, there it says created by Bob Kane. When we see the movies, it says created by Bob Kane. Correcting that is something that terrified everybody, I think, for decades.
Bill Finger was the dominant creative force of Batman, Robin, the Joker, Catwoman, the Riddler, the Penguin, the Scarecrow, Commissioner Gordon, Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson, and Gotham City.
I know Bob's trying to take credit for everything. Everything you would think is good, that's Bill.
So how could this not have been so well known?
I was a ghost. I really was.
Bob Kane did not want Bill Finger's story told and took tremendous offense at it.
Bill was Batman's secret identity. It became a crusade, getting Bill's name on Batman. Superheroes are not doing this to get paid or praised. They are doing something for the greater good, then they disappear into the night. Without Bill, there'd be no Batman. So what happened to Bill Finger?
You need to watch Benny TV. The guy is an idiot. You're gonna love him. You're gonna crack up over and over again. My name's Janet. I sell family haircutters if you ever need a haircut.
My name's Vicky and you're watching Benny TV. Perfect.
Okay. And we're back with movie reviews with Ryan Rizzuti.
Hi, I'm Ryan Rizzuti.
And I'm Benny Rizzuti, just in case you forgot that so far.
I didn't think you had to say that, but yeah, he's Benny Rizzuti.
All right. So anyway, we're going to review the hottest movie of the week right now.
Yes, this is the hottest movie of the week. Book Club with Diane Keaton and Jane Fonda.
I do want to see that, just not on the big screen, and I will never admit to it. No, I will admit to it.
But yes, we're here to talk about Deadpool 2, which is the big sequel to Deadpool, which came out 2 years ago, starring Ryan Reynolds, which is a big passion project for him. It was something that he tried to make for about 8 years, and it wasn't until there was a leak of test footage that they were actually able to get the first film made.
Really?
And, yeah. It was the first film was in development hell for years. Deadpool was previously an X-Men Origins Wolverine, and they completely ruined the character. It was nothing like how the character is in the comics, which is a lot closer to what it is in the new movie.
Yeah, we have a picture we'll show of what he looks like now.
There's a picture of what Deadpool looks like in the new Deadpool franchise of Ryan Reynolds. That's exactly how he looks like in the comic. In the red suit. He wears the red suit so bad guys don't see him bleed.
Oh, okay. Is that, yeah, all right.
But yeah, it was, they did a very bad job with it originally, and Ryan Reynolds was in that movie, and he only signed on so he could do his own Deadpool movie, which looked like it was never going to happen. It was a first-time director. They weren't sure if it was ever actually going to happen, and they were able to make it because test footage leaked online.
Oh, so he was trying to make it.
He was trying to make it, but it looked like it was never going to happen, and then test footage happened to leak online. They don't know who did it. You know, some people say it was Ryan Reynolds, some people say it was the director. You know, they both deny it, obviously.
Right.
But they made it, came out in February of 2016, and made a lot of money, did extremely well.
Was surprised everybody, right?
It did extremely well. It did surprise everyone. And it was a great film. I love the first Deadpool. I'm a big Deadpool fan. I loved the comics growing up.
I want to say that you growing up, you used to always mention Deadpool, and I didn't know, and then you had me read a Deadpool comic, which is really, it's a lot of fun. It was a comic, and I got to see how sarcastic he is, how he breaks the fourth wall.
He's a comic book character that knows that he's in a comic book, and he'll constantly make fun of the fact that he's in a comic book. So the first movie, was a movie about a comic book character that knows that he's in a movie about a comic book character.
Right, he opens it, there's his line like, "Hey, cool, I got my own movie,"
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah,
And
he says a little more vulgar than that. He's extremely vulgar. No kid should ever watch a Deadpool movie. We had this discussion at my job recently about whether or not, what's the proper age to watch Deadpool, because it is an R-rated movie. There was backlash over the first one that should have been a PG-13 cut, which I'm happy they never made because that wouldn't have been very good. But we have the second one, which came out this week.
Right.
It's a summer release. The first one came out in February. This one came out in May. Was originally going to come out in June, but they pushed it to last Thursday night. And this one brings in Cable, who is played by Josh Brolin, who also played Thanos in Avengers, who is in the comics is the son of Cyclops and Jean Grey of the X-Men. But most importantly, he's more known not just for his own comics, but for the fact that he is Deadpool's buddy, or he's the Murtaugh to Deadpool's Riggs. They're very much a buddy cop duo. They have their own comic, and Cable is a super soldier from the future who is half man, half machine because there's a cybernetic virus that is constantly flowing through him. So half of his body is completely robotic because it's a virus eating away at his body.
Wow. Okay,
And
they don't explain that.
No,
Yeah.
that's one of the things in the movie. They don't really go over his character too much. They kind of just give you this is the character, and I'm assuming that in the sequel, and if there is a Deadpool 3, which I think there will be, or if there's talk about if they'll make an X-Force film instead of a Deadpool film, another Deadpool film.
You're right.
So that might happen. We don't know.
And we'll learn more about.
Yeah, we'll learn more. And this film, without giving a lot away, is about Deadpool meeting Cable, tying up loose ends from the first film, and introducing new characters where Deadpool tries to create his own X-Force, bringing in Domino, which is a very popular character from the comic, whose superpower is luck. And they do a very good job cinematically of showing that.
I saw it. You saw it when it came out. I saw it
twice.
I saw it over the weekend with your mom, who hasn't gone to the movies in a long time because she was in pain, but had to see this because the first movie was so good.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I thought it's hilarious. I agree with you. They should not make a PG rated. The adults
PG-13.
PG-13. No, the adults should be allowed to have an adult superhero. We should.
No, I completely agree. And I love the movie. Some people don't like it as much as the first one. I think the first one's a little bit better, but I love both of them. And I think this one does a lot of good comedy. If you don't like the first Deadpool, you probably won't like this one. You might if you like the raunchy humor. If you like raunchy R-rated humor, and even if you don't like superheroes, but you like raunchy R-rated humor and you like meta commentary and making fun of superhero movies for the most part, I would say that it would be a film for you to see. I really enjoy it. I think the action is better in this one than the first one. They changed directors. The director of this one was David Leitch, who is most known for he was one of the co-directors of the first John Wick, and he directed Atomic Blonde, which came out last year with Charlize Theron.
Right.
Which was it was a pretty interesting spy film that all takes place during the fall of the Berlin Wall in Berlin. And that it's not the best movie, but that movie has some interesting action. I do overall like that movie, but it's not that great. But I think David Leitch is an amazing director of action. He's amazing at composing an action scene, and that's where he shines best in Deadpool. I think his storytelling kind of falls by the wayside, which I think Tim Miller, the director of the first one, was a little better at. Which is my biggest thing with this one, is the story isn't as strong. Even though the story wasn't super strong in the first one, I thought the story was more kept together.
To me, it's a comic book character in a movie, and it flowed. I feel that the first one, as we said, he opened with, hey, I got my own movie. And the second one, it was more or less, yeah, now I am the movie. And let's go do a movie. And the only thing I dislike about the movie, and we're going to show a picture right now, is that there isn't enough of Blind Al in it.
That is something. In the second time I watched it, I was looking for that, and I was like, yeah, no, my dad's right. There should be more Blind Al.
I love that's Leslie Uggams playing the character of Blind Al, who is his blind roommate and buddy. He
Yeah, he has a nice love-hate relationship with Blind Al, and it's he pays the rent. She has to assemble all the IKEA furniture. That's their relationship.
That is hilarious.
They're roommates.
But that was my only dislike, was that she wasn't in it enough. There wasn't enough of her, where in the first one you had,
She wasn't in it too much in the first one. She only has a couple of scenes.
It's a great character, though.
It's a great character, and it's a character that's big in the comics, and they changed it a little bit from the comics, because in the comics, Blind Al is his prisoner. and is his hostage, and then it becomes like a Stockholm syndrome where people will rescue her, but then she's like, no, I want to stay with Deadpool. Where I like that they make it that it's an actual friendship.
Right. Yeah.
Because in the comics, and people will find this very surprising, Deadpool is a lot more sadistic and he's even more turned up in the comics, I would say.
All right.
He does a lot more, like, he will sleep with anything that moves and a lot of things that won't move. He'll do
really?
pretty much anything. There's a really fun comic where he's fighting a bunch of Nazi vampires. And they're all trying to eat him and bite him, and he's like, ha ha ha. Like, all you're doing is biting my cancer, because his superpower is he has health regenerative abilities like Wolverine, but he was a cancer patient, and he had a ton of cancer. And there's a part in this movie where he doesn't have his powers, and he says, without my powers, all I have is the power of unbridled cancer.
Right.
Which is a joke, because that's the thing, is he has these health powers that are regenerative abilities. That is the reason why he's able to stay alive and makes him pretty much unkillable.
I loved both movies, and as I told you in other conversations, I said that I was superheroed out. I was superhero, and he is refreshing.
Yeah.
Deadpool is very refreshing, and they're malcontent misfits, as one reviewer put it. Him and his crew of, because all the other characters, Teenage Megasonic.
Yeah.
But we have a picture of, you mentioned the new character, Domino. Mm-hmm. So we'll show her.
Yes, Domino, played by Zazie Beetz, who is known from being in Atlanta, which is Donald Glover's show.
Oh, okay.
And she plays his girlfriend on that show. And she's very funny on that show. So that was the only thing I've seen her in before this, and I thought she did a really good job. And we have a photo of Domino, Deadpool, and Cable. Josh Brolin is Cable. And I know some people that are diehard Cable fans don't really love the Cable in this movie, but I don't think it was made for those diehard fans, because there's almost two kinds of Cables in the comic. There's the Cable that's with Deadpool, who's more jokey and comedic and plays off of Deadpool. And then there's the one who has his own solo series, which is a lot more serious, because he's a time-traveling super soldier trying to save the world. And
yeah.
So there is like two characters almost.
Oh,
they're very similar, but it's almost like there's two different sides there.
Well, with comic books nowadays, to keep the audience, because I guess there's so much different entertainment. There's video games for the kids and stuff.
Well, this has been from the 90s to now.
But in the comic book, it's changed as far as like how you market comics.
Yeah.
So they have to change characters up. They do that, and they do a lot of crossovers, right? To keep people interested. And now,
but this was more than a crossover. They had their own comic. They were Deadpool and Cable are a dynamic duo in the comics.
And to be honest with you, one thing that these movies have made me do is want to read the comics.
Yeah.
So they make me want to go out, but I feel that it should be adult. They should keep it R-rated, and for me, it's very refreshing. I love that, and I love Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, I love Guardians of the Galaxy.
And I've said I'm a DC fan, but he's so cynical, Deadpool, that he rips on everybody. You have to see it. If you like Deadpool, see it. I want to say one thing. I spoke to a friend, and one of my friends was, he said his fear of seeing it, and I thought it was mine too, was that Deadpool wouldn't be as funny as the first one, and he wouldn't break the fourth wall as much. It's a continuation of the first.
That was never an issue I was going to have, because that's what makes Deadpool Deadpool, is that. That is Deadpool in a nutshell, is breaking the fourth wall, talking to the audience, knowing that he's in a movie. If you take that away, then that's not Deadpool. That's one of the biggest things in X-Men Origins Wolverine. When he becomes at the end this like creature, he doesn't have a mouth. They remove his mouth to be like, oh, he's the Merc with a mouth. That is literally Deadpool's name.
Yes,
the whole point of Deadpool is he's a wisecracking ninja almost.
Yes, yeah.
And that's what's so great about it.
And it's so
he
great.
Can't die. You cut his head off, he's going to keep talking.
You're such a great fan. And as I said, when you were younger, you would always tell me about Deadpool. And then one day you were like, Dad, you have to read Deadpool. And
Yeah, it was
before.
Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe was actually what I
Yes.
gave you, which is where Deadpool literally kills every single Marvel superhero.
I recommend it. I highly recommend
It's great.
it. It is great.
It's a great comic.
To wrap up the segment, I would like to discuss with you about, since Deadpool 2 is a sequel, okay? What sequels, let's mention a few sequels that are as good, if not better, than the original
Okay,
movie.
we'll quickly touch upon this. Last time I was on, we talked about Blade Runner 2049.
Yes.
Which is something we both would recommend. We both say is as good, if not better, than the first one. Another one I was thinking of, which isn't a series you watch, but is a series I like, and one of the biggest things is it's very hard to make sequels, but it's very hard to make comedy sequels. Which is something I think Deadpool 2 does a very good job of, because it is an action comedy. It's a superhero comedy, which is something we didn't really express. It's a comedy.
It's a raunchy comedy.
It's a raunchy comedy. 22 Jump Street, which is the sequel to 21 Jump Street, which was a reboot / parody of the original 21 Jump Street series with Johnny Depp, is one of the best sequels that I've ever seen. Because the whole point of the 22 Jump Street sequel is making fun of sequels.
Oh, all
and
right.
like the
Yeah.
running gag is, in the first one they went undercover in high school. This time they go undercover in college to do the exact same thing they did in the first one. And the running gag is just do the same thing as last time. Don't change it up. Keep what works. It worked good the first time. Just do it again. That is the running joke throughout the entire film, is don't break what worked the first time. And they do a lot of other things on top of that that make that one of my favorite sequels of all time.
And what I like about that is the fact that there are too many of sequels that are exactly like the first movie.
Yeah, so they kind of turned it on its head, which I think is what
made
works
it,
so
which
well.
which is great. So
do you have one?
yeah, I have a few. Going back to James Whale, who did Frankenstein, I find Bride of Frankenstein a better movie.
Okay.
I like Bride of Frankenstein better, and it's good. Some people say The Godfather Part 2. I think that both of them together they make complement. Superman 2. Superman 1 is very boring to me. It says, yeah, okay, he can fly, he's in the city, meets...
Nothing really happens
Nothing
until like
happens.
an hour in, yeah.
Yeah, it's not a big deal, and Lex Luthor is not a great villain. When General Zod comes out of the Phantom Zone, which is all in the comics, and I loved it. And when he throws the guy through the Coca-Cola sign, that makes it for me. So,
and I think probably because I think we're gonna end this segment.
Yeah.
The best sequel, in my opinion, has always been The Dark Knight.
Yes. Yeah.
And which is it's about to be 10 years old. The Dark Knight.
Wow.
It's gonna be 10 years old in 2 months of July.
Wow.
And over those 10 years, there hasn't been a superhero movie that's reached that plateau, and it's because it's not just a superhero movie. It's more of a crime film.
Yes.
It's a crime film with happens to have a guy dressed like a bat and a guy dressed like a Joker. But it's an amazing film. It's an amazing movie. A big thing was the fact that the main reason why the Academy Awards have more than 5 nominations now is because of the fact that The Dark Knight wasn't nominated for Best Picture.
Oh, really?
That is one of the main reasons. There's a lot of other reasons, because there's been plenty of other movies that got passed over.
Yeah.
But it was the year before was The Dark Knight, and then the year after, they're like, we have to change it. Because a movie that good should have been nominated.
I was disappointed that neither The Dark Knight or The Dark Knight Rises were nominated.
Well, some people don't like Dark Knight Rises as much as you. Some people
I don't care
like
about those people.
I think Logan should have been nominated, especially since we had more nominations.
Yes, Logan's another great one.
It was nominated for screenplay, but it should have been Best Picture nomination.
Yes, and the best
And
great acting.
That's another sequel that's great, which is in the same vein, and it's almost a companion piece to Deadpool 2. For reasons I can't really say without spoiling both films, but they both complement each other very well, to the point that the opening scene of Deadpool 2 is talking about very much the ending of Logan. So I recommend, if you're going to see Deadpool 2, to also have seen Logan.
Yeah.
You don't have to, but it helps. I think that's that wraps up this.
That wraps up this is Movie Talk with Ryan Rizzuti. And next week you'll be back and we'll talk about...
next week we can talk about Solo, a Star Wars story.
Yeah.
Which comes out this week.
Okay. We will, and I may see the one, the Infinity Wars.
Avengers Infinity War, which
Yeah.
I still highly recommend if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, so I'll give my review on
Which is
that.
another great sequel, which in my opinion is the best of the 3 Avengers films. But again, that's a film I can't talk about without spoiling the entire film.
Yeah, and I haven't seen it yet. All right, thank you very much, sir. See you next week.
Okay, do I leave?
Oh, yeah. No, I forgot. I have to cue. Okay.
Did you forget how the show is? Your show.
Yeah, I forgot how Benny TV works. Since we're talking about movies, there are a couple of I'm sorry, I goofed. There are a couple of science fiction cult classics that you may not know about, and I'm going to show you the trailers of both of them right now. Let's roll them.
Bold, bizarre, terrifying. Rock Hudson, in an astonishing change of pace, stars in Seconds. Rock Hudson as a second, freed from all responsibilities, now ready to taste new pleasures. Rock Hudson, as a man who buys for himself a totally new life, a chance to begin again. Every man's dream since time began.
As soon as these people leave, I'm going to attack you. I want you to know that.
I'm counting on it.
Rock Hudson, as a man who lives the nightmare of being a second.
Why you all staring at me like that? Hey, John. Hey, John. Hey, John. Why are they staring at me like that?
They know.
They know what?
They're like you. Reborn.
Oh, Laura!
It's Mars on the Hudson. It's Cheers Goes to Harlem.
Get you something to drink, brother?
It's E.T. Rides the Underground Railroad.
Want to see me make all the white people disappear?
125th Street next.
That was fantastic.
It's the brother from another planet.
Man is a fugitive from a chain gang.
He's got radar for a mind, removable eyes, and a lovable smile.
Give me 5, brother.
White folks get strange all the time.
It's John Sayles' dazzling and propelling comedy hit. It's the box office blast guaranteed to open your eyes.
The brother from another planet. Yeah.
All right. That was 2 great classic, cult classics, actually, because a lot of people don't know them. One is a John Frankenheimer film. And Frankenheimer directed many great movies, including, I believe, Basic Instinct. I know it's 7 Days in May. Many movies, great director. And that Seconds is a science fiction film with Rock Hudson, which is great. It's about an elderly man who looks somewhat like me, who goes for this procedure and looks like, and changes his identity. and looks like Rock Hudson. It's been done before. This film is great acting all around, great movie. And one of my all-time favorites, the other trailer, was Brother from Another Planet. Written and directed by John Sayles, features Joe Morton in the lead role, and you may recognize him from he was in Terminator 2. He played Professor Dyson, and believe he's been on Scandal, a few other shows on TV, lots of movies. Great actor, marvelous actor, and Brother from Another Planet is a great, refreshing tale. It's a great story. I highly recommend it, and both of those films are easy to get a hold of. If you can't find them on Netflix, you can find them on Amazon Prime. Maybe they're free. I bought Brother from Another Planet, and I will be ordering a copy of Seconds. Seconds also happens to be, you've heard me mention Harlan Ellison. We may show a trailer for Harlan Ellison's documentary, Dreams with Sharp Teeth, which we showed last week. And I still have the DVD if anybody wants it. You have to go onto the Benny TV page on Facebook and write either a paragraph or a poem on why you want this Harlan Ellison DVD. I will deliver it to you. It's entirely free. I will hand deliver it to you if you live on Long Island. I will mail it to you if you want. I'll send it by carrier pigeon, dangling on a carrier pigeon. We've got a lot more show. We've got some great videos from some friends of mine who are some New York City comics who I've had the pleasure of doing shows with and doing stand-up shows with a few of them. Very entertaining, great people. Sandy Chan-Simone and Luis Leone have a very unique show in the city, in Long Island City, called Here's the Thing. And it's these stand-up comedians that you do your act, and if you say, here's the thing, there's a buzzer and you have to do a shot. So this is a little promo they made for that, and then that's followed by Camille Theobald in a very interesting and, as I said, quite entertaining video. So let's roll them with Sandy and Luis.
Sandy, she's the funniest girl in town. Sandy, she loves the crowd around. Sandy, don't let her near your kids. Sandy, she's so smart and so innocent. Sandy, she easily pays the rent. Sandy, she'll kill you and eat your flesh. Sandy, she drives a Celica. Sandy, she has a good sense of smell like a Sandy, denies 9/11.
It with an inside job.
Josh! Guess what?
What?
Finally have gender-neutral bathroom signs at school.
Oh, wow. That's really cool.
I know. Finally, some progress,
It's
right?
about time, actually. Yeah. That's rad.
Oh.
Ladies first.
Yeah, okay. Oh my god. Can I do this?
Shoot. I was gonna ask her out for a drink to celebrate. I can't stink the place up with her right next to me.
Maybe I'll aim for the side of the bowl. He won't hear that.
What's she even doing over there? I'm pretty sure girls don't poop. Poop.
Poop. Should I say something?
I definitely can't say anything.
I have to say something. How's it going?
Not great, actually. Kind of behind on my work.
No, I mean, with your business.
I don't own a business.
No, I mean, are you finished in here?
Well, I was waiting on you to leave.
I was waiting for you to leave.
What happened to ladies first?
This isn't about chivalry. I can't go next to a guy.
We were just celebrating this as progress.
That doesn't mean I'm gonna grow a tail with you in the room. I can't hold it in any longer. Can you please go outside?
I can't hold it either.
Okay, I have a plan. Maybe if we go at the same time, it'll cancel each other out. We won't hear the other poop.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. Let's go on 3.
1, 2. I didn't hear you. How come I was the only one who made noise?
It was silent.
I'm proud to live in this great free country, and I'm proud of our commitment to free speech, and I'm proud of our country's commitment to protecting the rights of its citizens to work and live free from bigotry and violence. That's why I was amazed to discover that many people die each year in anti-gay attacks, and thousands more are left scarred emotionally and physically. Bigotry has no place in this great nation, and violence has no place in this world, but it happens. Prejudice hurts, kills. Please don't be a part of it.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Pat Marone from Laughter Saves Lives Live. You're watching Benny TV.
Thank you, Pat Marone. And thank you, Sandy Chansimone, Luis Leone, Camille Theobald. I'm sorry I don't have all the credits for that. That was very interesting what she wrote about co-ed bathrooms, unisex bathroom. And Bob Hope, which Bob Hope is one of my biggest heroes. Love the man as an entertainer, comedian, and a great humanitarian. The story about that public service announcement that he did for GLAAD is, the way I read the story was that he was on a talk show and he was making fun of someone's tie. He was joking about a person's tie, and he said that the tie made him look like a fag. And he said it to be funny. He didn't, after the show, he heard so much about, from GLAAD about, that he was bashing the gays, and he didn't realize this. He had no idea. He was just trying to be funny. So instead of making a public apology, he took his own money and he made this 60-minute spot. He made that spot on his own, aired it on his own, used his own money because he didn't realize that. And as he said, prejudice kills. So I thought that was, I love that. I remember that back in the 80s when I used to see it on TV. Thought I'd like to have it on the show. I will also have public service announcements of bullying, anything, any topic you want. If you have a video, send it to me. Just contact me on Benny TV at Facebook, or I will have a Benny TV email. I just don't have it today. So I have so many emails. I gotta fix that up. Anyway, I have a surprise video for you coming up next. The reason it's a surprise is because I don't remember what order I put them in. So let's roll them, Bobby.
I use a wheelchair as a vehicle to challenge how people see anybody that's different. So the wheelchair is okay, it's about accessibility, but it's about helping people to see things differently. So I do stand-up comedy, often in a wheelchair, so I'm pushed up. So I've carried the wheelchair often up 2 flights of stairs in order to get into a venue, because they're not accessible.
Hello, my name's Mags. I'm a psychic medium. I was a small medium. I'm a medium, and now I'm more of a large medium.
So then I go and do the comedy, and then halfway through my set, I'm open about the fact I don't need it.
So, And it's good because he's so straightforward and honest and transparent, and that's important. So I am going to come clean with you now and tell you that I don't actually need this, but I do like a little bit of comfort. I know. So, the chair. I like a chair with a back, obviously. It's not actually my chair, it's my dad's. I left him at Super Value. He's resourceful. He's 90, he'll find his own way home, it'll be fine. So, really good. I mean, I have made an effort. If you are disgusted, and some of you may be, I have carried it up. I've carried it up a flight of stairs, 2 buses, yeah. And I like to use it for shoplifting.
And people have that little shock moment of like seeing somebody disabled, or so they see. They see me as this disabled woman, and then they see a funny woman, hopefully, because I make people laugh, and then that I don't need it. So one person at a time I'm kind of changing, or maybe a few people at a time see how they see the world.
Wow.
So that's what I'm doing.
Well, like, so how do people need to start seeing people on wheelchair? We're talking about comedy right now. We're not talking about any other areas of saying, okay, because this person's on a wheelchair for a different reason. We just focus so viewers can understand where we're coming from. It's not like we're just talking about, oh, wheelchair people. But this is for comedy, you know?
Yeah.
Because the reason for this is that people have different talent, you know, and your talent could unify you based on either by car, either by bike, wheelchair. And you want to talk to people when you're doing comedy. And when you're standing doing your own comedy, you connect more. But when you're sitting on the wheelchair, there could be a little bit difference there. So why would people start thinking in such a way, well, okay, I can laugh a little bit, or they don't feel like, okay, if this person is standing,
yeah, well, it's
they could
interesting
connect.
because often I would be pushed up. If I'm pushed up, often I'd be pushed up in silence, whereas other comedians would get applause. There's this shock. They see the wheelchair, they don't see the person. So the reason I started ever doing the comedy stuff in a wheelchair was because my mother actually wanted to go to see a film, and I needed a wheelchair. She was 90 at the time. It was to see a film called Philomena.
Yeah.
And the wheelchair got her there. She asked for popcorn and a drink, and then they asked me, and I was pushing her, they asked me, does she want it in 2 separate cups, or can she manage?
Yeah.
And my mother said, you know, I've ordered it, why aren't you speaking to me? Okay. And that's the point. It's about how people are treated, or how it impacts people, just to see this. Now, this is really useful because it's a physical thing. You can see the wheelchair.
Yeah.
But the wheelchair could represent any difference. It can represent
Different
depression
things,
or
yeah,
anxiety, anything that makes somebody excluded. And often people are excluded because they're not able to get upstairs, but they may be because they have anxiety or depression, or they may have a whole load of other things that are going on for them. And we treat people differently because they don't fit into our social norms.
My name's Vicky, and you're watching Betty TV. Perfect.
That's right, you're watching Benny TV on Strong Island Radio and Television. And hope you're enjoying the show. We, as I said, this is the show about everything, and we're going to be followed. Don't go away, because in less than 15 minutes, or maybe 15 minutes, Laughter Saves Lives Live is coming up. So last week I kind of ran out of videos, if you remember. Tonight I think I have more videos than I need. But before I get into that video, let's talk about the last one that we saw. That was Margaret McHugh, a.k.a. Mags McHugh. And that was on the first show I did, first Benny TV, I showed her that entire set that she was referring to. Now she sent me a video, and I put it together with clips from that set to show you what a great thing that she does, that she takes that wheelchair with her and sits in it to see how people react, and to let people know, it doesn't matter the chair, or if you have limitations. Everybody has some kind of a limitation. But treat everybody like people. Treat us all like equals. I think that's what tonight's show is all about. Some of us may be different from, we're not all come out of a cookie cutter, we're not cookie cutter. Everyone is different, and we're all extraordinary in our own way, which leads me to this next video of a very extraordinary human being. Roll 'em, Bobby!
I don't think that anybody has ever seen the real Frank Zappa, because being interviewed is one of the most abnormal things that you can do to somebody else. It's the 2 steps removed from the Inquisition.
Zappa has often seemed to be a force of cultural darkness, bearded and gross and filthy, a lone, brutal reminder of music's potential for invoking chaos and destruction.
I'm famous, but most people don't even know what I do.
Always a freak, but never a hippie. Frank Zappa on Frank Zappa.
You're very packaging-oriented, aren't you?
You've got kids.
Yeah, I have a wife, 4 kids, mortgage, the works. I've never taken any acid. I've smoked about 10 joints over a period of 9 years. Isn't it strange, the fantasies that people have? I hate to see anybody with a closed mind on any topic. And then people started telling me that my melodies were ugly. Dirty words don't exist. This is a fantasy that is manufactured by religious fanatics and government organizations to keep people stupid.
God, I am the American dream, with a spindle up my butt till it makes me scream.
Society decides for itself what will be sinful. So little chance of escaping that cycle. We're not concerned enough about the quality of our lives. Aesthetic enrichment, this is not a major consideration in the United States.
There is a deep, permanent, irreversible cynicism in you.
And I wish that I could have other people catch some of it.
From Hollywood, it's the Steve Allen Show. From the Steve Allen Playhouse on Vine Street in the heart of Hollywood, we bring you 90 minutes of madness and melody with guest stars Mel Torme, Jenny Smith, songwriter Sammy Fain, log roller Diane Ellison, musical bicyclist Frank Zappa, Don Brenner and his orchestra, yours truly, Johnny J.
Steve, we not only have the prettiest girls in the audience here at the Steve Allen Show, but also you'll have to admit some of the strangest musical instruments. And this gentleman plays perhaps the strangest of them all. He plays the bicycle, and his name is Frank Zappa. Thank you.
You actually play a bicycle?
Yeah.
Are you in the Musicians Union?
No.
Do you play any other musical instrument, anything more conventional, perhaps?
Guitar, vibes, bass, and drums.
Guitar, vibes, bass, drums, and bicycle. That's bicycle will travel from his bass to his drums to his guitar. How did you happen to pick up your first bicycle?
I was discussing this before with some of the people backstage. I believe that a lot of the people have actually played bicycles from time to time. When they're young, they take a piece of cardboard and a clothespin and attach it to the rear wheel, and when it goes around, it makes that noise, and you're playing a bicycle then.
Oh, I see. You mean when they pretend they have a little motor and make it sound like a motorbike. Yes, we've all done that. Well, is that what you do? You make a motorbike noise? I see a couple of bikes over here. Perhaps we'd better go over and demonstrate and show them what you do. Frank Zappa, Z-A-P-P-A, huh? Well, here we are, friends, stereo bikes. And you have what are these tools in your hands?
These pair of Louis Bellson-style drumsticks and a bass bow that I borrowed from your bass man in the back.
Louis Bellson-style drumsticks. Does Louis know what you're doing with them?
I don't think he'd approve very much.
How long have you been playing bike, Frank?
About 2 weeks.
He probably was selling insurance or something, and he thought, what's something real jerky that'll get me on the Steve Allen Show? Playing bicycle. What could be sillier than that? And he did it, and here we are. That's probably how it happened. You really only been playing 2 weeks?
Yes.
What do you do ordinarily besides this?
I'm a composer.
Ah. Might we be familiar with any of your songs as yet?
Well, you will be familiar with some of my songs as of next week.
That's 32 bars. We're playing like we went to 32 bars tonight, you know? Well, Mr. Zappa? I must say that I'm always in favor of enlarging the horizons, at least in peering anxiously beyond the horizons of any field of human endeavor or interest. And therefore, I congratulate you on your farsightedness. And as for your music, don't ever do it around here again. No, seriously, it was a very amusing and entertaining and stimulating experiment. Is there anything you'd like to say in closing?
Yes, I would. Next week, a record is being released called How's Your Bird?
Really?
Yes, I brought a dub of it over here. I don't think you've heard it yet. And it's, go and buy it. It's wonderful.
Crazy.
Got everything but a bicycle in it.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Zappa. Thank you.
And that was Frank Zappa. We started with Eat That Question, which is a great, it's a great documentary. I'm not sure if I got it on Netflix or Hulu. I don't recall where I got it from. But you can find it. You can even purchase it now, I believe. Excellent documentary made up of different snippets of Frank's interviews that he made through the years. And then I added at the end of it, I put Frank Zappa's first television appearance on the Steve Allen Show. And for those of you who don't know, Steve Allen began the first Tonight Show, and he was, I believe, he was one of the most memorable pioneer talk show hosts. Very funny man, extremely entertaining man. Wonderful. He's had many different shows. I will talk about Steve Allen throughout Benny TV's segments. But that was with where he had Frank Zappa playing the bicycle. And very young Frank Zappa, who said he was a composer, and he truly was the last great composer of the 20th century, or the last great composer. Other people are songwriters. Frank was a composer. And you should see Dweezil. You really should. We're wrapping up. The show is coming to an end. Hope you enjoyed all the videos. Hope you enjoyed the movie review with Ryan Rizzuti and I. And I want to say have a happy Memorial Day. And when you're out there having fun, maybe you should do something nice for the veterans. Make a donation for, remember it's Memorial Day, so remember the veterans, remember the people who fought for our country and served for our country so that you can have the freedom that you have today. Thank you all. Have a great week, safe week. See you next Tuesday. You're watching Benny TV on Strong Island Radio and Television. Yeehaw!